Members to the seats.
Go 650.
Oh, because we're doing the budget first.
Yes.
All right, I want to welcome everybody to this special Common Council meeting for the presentation of the budget. I'm going to open it up to public participation. It is now 6:52. Remarks should be confined to the mayor's proposed budget only. Please state your name and address and limit your time to 3 minutes. And again, remarks are only to deal with the budget only. Anybody wishing to speak? Anybody wishing to speak? I have Paul Canzaro, but Mr. Canzaro, you're not here for the special meeting.
I'm here, but I'm not speaking.
You don't want two bites of the apple tonight? Okay, all right. All right, I think I said it twice. You can correct me if I didn't. And one more time, anybody wishing to speak? Is there anybody remote? Nobody remote? I'm going to call this public participation portion of the meeting closed, and the presentation and the special meeting will start momentarily.
Okay. This is the special meeting. I would like to call the special meeting of the New Britain Common Council to order. The date is Wednesday, April 10th. The time is 6:55 p.m. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderpersons McNamara,
Here?
Smedley, Sanchez, Beloin Saavedra, Simpson, Russell, Barbosa, Hargraves, McAdam, Gibson, Scott, Connors, Malinowski, Pabon, Santiago.
Present.
13 present, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clerk. I'll call on you for the reading of the warrant.
Mayor's warrant to the Clerk of the City of New Britain.
Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
Your Honor, I make a motion that we waive the reading of the warrant.
Second.
I have a second by Alderman Santiago. All those in favor of waiving the reading of the warrant, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Sorry, Mr. Clerk. We'll move right along into the reports and the resolutions. Again, the point of this meeting this evening is
Your
just to get the mayor's budget passed on to the committees of cognizance. I don't have anything, so no. Okay. Yep, thank you, though. Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra for item number 1.
Your Honor, I make a motion to accept item number 1, and I urge the body to do so.
I have a second by Alderman Gibson. Sorry.
And this is just a report from the mayor's office regarding the general fund budget.
Okay, any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
Your Honor, I make a motion to accept item number 2 and refer to the Committee on Administration, Finance, and Law, and the Committee on Planning, Zoning, and Housing. I urge referral.
Second.
I have a second from Alderman Hargraves. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderwoman.
Your Honor, I make a motion to accept item number 3, and I urge acceptance of this body.
Seconded by Alderwoman Barbosa.
It is just a report from the Mayor's office regarding the special revenue funds and enterprise funds.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor of the report, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Alderwoman.
Your Honor, I make a motion to accept item number 4 and refer to the Committee on Administration, Finance, and Law, and the Committee on Planning, Zoning, and Housing.
Second by Alderman Russell.
And this is a resolution regarding the special revenue funds and enterprise funds.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Your Honor, I make a
Alderwoman.
motion to accept item number 5, and I urge the body to accept the report from the Mayor's office.
I have a second from Alderman Santiago. Any questions or comments on the report?
This is the LoSiP program.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
Your Honor,
Alderwoman.
I make a motion to accept item number 6 and refer to the Committee on Administration, Finance, and Law, and the Committee on Planning, Zoning, and Housing.
I have a second by Alderwoman Sanchez.
And again, this resolution is about budget appropriation for capital improvement, which is LoSiP.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Made by Alderman Santiago, seconded by Alderman Malinowski. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. The time is 6:58 PM. We will now start, or soon, we'll start public participation for the regular meeting. Thank you.
I think there's a new sheet for sign-ups for anyone wishing to speak for the regular meeting. So I'll wait a couple of minutes, if that's the case.
I think they took the sheet.
They took the sheet. Want to wing it? No? Thank you, Alderman, as always. Welcome to the regular council meeting for April 10th, 2024. We will begin the public participation portion of the common council meeting. The time is now 7:01. As always, please remember to state your name and address clearly for the record and limit speaking time to 3 minutes. Once I get the list, we'll call the first name and open it up to anyone after that who has not signed up. There it is. Thank you. All right, for the regular council meeting, First speaker is Frank Chase.
Frank Chase, 24 Roxbury Road. Ray Esponda from Public Works gave us an informative presentation to the City Council back in March. We know about the complexities and the cost of the Allen Street Project Number 2. We have read the engineering reports. We know about the effects of climate change. We are forced to live with the resulting flooding. The issue with residents getting in and out of their properties while construction progresses can be managed. We are sure the engineers, planners, designers, experts have encountered all of this before with more complex projects. Where will the water from the proposed pumping stations go to? Tanks? Piper Brook? Seems to be a very expensive fix. An upgraded underground system is probably the best solution. Yes, the pipes are deep. Yes, there's a ledge to contend with. Once again, the engineers have encountered all of these problems before. The mayor says, as we saw a historic amount of rain this past summer, it is evident more than ever that we need to see the Allen Street Project Number 2, storm sewer upgrades and roadway reconstruction come to fruition. The cost estimates to complete the second phase of this project are between $7 to $8 million. These estimates are based off an engineering report conducted about 6 years ago. For the record, the semifinal engineering plan completed about 6 years ago, the mayor references was actually completed 11 years ago. The $7 to $8 million cost estimate she references is unrealistic in today's dollars. In 1997, the estimate to upgrade the Allen Street Basin was $1.5 million. In 2013, the estimate was $6.9 million. We have now learned from a reliable source within the city government that the new cost for the Allen Street project is $14.4 million. The math is easy. By delaying the Allen Street project for 11-plus years, the city will be forced to spend $7.7 million more. This is not fiscal responsibility. Once again, not $1 from the $56 million of ARPA infrastructure funds sent to New Britain was allocated to the Allen Street project. Thankfully, we have finally uncovered all of this. This mismanagement falls directly on the shoulders of Mayor Stewart. It's time for the mayor to redeem herself, fund and complete the Allen Street project now. There are many storm sewer challenges in New Britain, none greater than the Allen Street project. We must move forward quickly with the final engineering plan to upgrade the Allen Street Basin's outdated, undersized storm sewer system. There are 25-plus property owners and many more residents asking for a solution. This problem has been allowed to fester over many decades. Meanwhile, the flooding continues. The final plan must be in place by the summer of 2024. Funding must be finalized and construction start dates in place by the first quarter of 2025. There's no easy way out of this. The problem has been ignored far too long. We've heard all of the excuses and disproved all of them. The cause is undeniable. The effects will be catastrophic if the flooding is allowed to continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chase. The next speaker is Mr. Andrew Pope.
Hi, Andrew Pope, 87 Brighton Street. I don't know if you guys remember me, but I was here a month ago. I live up the street from Mr. Chase. I had sewer water almost a year ago, July 14th of last year, back up into my property because of heavy raining. It's still been a problem. And about a month ago, my insurance company let me know that they might not be renewing my insurance policy, so I am now officially not renewed with my insurance. I've had to contact 3 to 4 insurance agents, which have only given me cut rate, unknown insurance companies to get me the insurance that I need, and it's 3 times the amount that it was a year ago. Seems like it's going to be a bigger problem than just me, if it's going to cost people 3 times as much to insure their property in our neighborhood. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Pope. Next speaker up is Peg Messerschmidt.
My name is Peg Messerschmidt, and I live at 6 Hampton Street in the same neighborhood as these guys. And I want to just reiterate what Andy said, because the insurance company, my insurance company, showed up at my door this past week wanting to inspect my property. They're on to us. So you can expect to hear a lot of people in this town, and in this neighborhood in particular, complaining about their insurance rates, so we need to get this done, and please get it done this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Peg. These are all the names I have on the list. Are there any other speakers? Any other speakers?
I was on the wrong list, I guess. Story of my life. Paul Cantanzaro, 250 Hillhurst Avenue. Good evening. A couple items, I hope I can get it under 3 minutes. One is the compensation resolution. It's something we've talked about for many, many years, trying to get it out of the political hands and make it automatic. I like the cost of living for the mayor and the registrars. But to make it regular for everybody else, I have a little issue. Not that nobody deserves it. I'm glad it's every other year, thanks to Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra. It shouldn't be every year, it's every other year. But all the other positions, except the mayor and the registrars, aren't full-time and aren't department heads. You're elected and appointed positions. And it shouldn't, I don't believe, should be going on indefinitely with no cap. There's no cap. You know, the council went from $750 now to $5,000, which is reasonable. You know, maybe if it goes a couple thousand more, that should be it. You're not here to make a living. You're here to serve the public. So, but there is no caveat for that. And it said there's no way to make a resolution. If you make a resolution for no raise, that doesn't work according to Corp Council. So everybody's guaranteed a raise every 2 years, whether you raise taxes or not, which is never a good thing to get a raise when you raise taxes when you're a elected official. So, but I'll get off of that soapbox. You guys have to deal with that. The other thing is dropping the subcommittees from 3 to 2. I don't know what you're thinking. I have no idea where that came from. I was on a council and we had 5. The original was with 5 under Mike Trueworthy, and we separated drastically. We had public safety and health, we had public works and infrastructure, and then administrative finance law. And that just makes it much simpler. If you think you're going to be, cutting a day off for meetings, you might be, but you're not going home at 9 o'clock, I'll tell you that. You'll be here till 11, 12 o'clock, especially at budget time. Compensation, the consolidated committee, first of all, doesn't meet every month. So I don't understand that. And that was always the longest during the budget season, because those are your big ticket items. And as chairs, you shouldn't just be running a meeting. You oversee those departments. You should know your department heads. That's what I did when I was chair. You get to know who they are, because they have to come through your committee. If you don't know who they are, then you're not doing your job. I just think that's a foolish a mistake you're making, cutting it down. It's just going to make your meetings a lot longer, and I don't know if it's great for the public. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Catanzaro. Are there any other speakers for public participation? Any other speakers? Any other speakers? Anybody on the line? Nobody. The public participation portion of the meeting is now closed. I'd invite any comment from the members on anything they've heard tonight. Alderwoman Scott.
Just thank you, Frank, for all the work that you're doing on the water issues. So I just want to say thank you, and thank all of you for coming in regards to the flooding problems that we've been having in the city and doing all the work that you're doing. I know we spoke before, and I know it can be a lot doing this kind of work, but just keep doing what you're doing, and I know that something will happen as a result of it. And I'm really sorry that the insurance companies that's happening to you, and hopefully we can resolve that, because I think we are going to see more people coming out, and this is really impacting and affecting people who have homes here that are being flooded, because there's a lot of consequences to having damage constantly being done to your home. So thank you and keep doing what you're doing. It's for the good of everybody here.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Any other? Alderman Connors.
I'm having an issue with my mic again, but that's, we've got a spare. Just want to thank Andy and Peggy for showing up and letting us know about the insurance concerns. Those are very concerning, and if I haven't already provided you my contact information, I will do so at the break. I'd like to find out more about that specifically, and just thanks again for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you, Alderman. Any other comments? Any others? I don't see any. I just in response to Mr. Catanzaro, if he's still, oh, there you are. I think the compensation item will be on the agenda on April 24th. I don't think it's on tonight, just for your information. Oh, it is on it. I stand corrected. You came at the right meeting then, all right? And I think we've already reestablished an audit committee. We're contemplating a short-term committee to address homelessness issues. And so we're giving ourselves flexibility to deal with issues as needed in response to I understand your concern. Having no other comments, I'm going to declare public participation over at 7:13. Oh, I'm sorry, Alderman Simpson.
I just want to clarify, I don't see the compensation item on our agenda for tonight. It's not? No. Okay.
What? Oh, all right. I stand correct. Thank you. Sorry. All right, anybody else? All right, thank you. It's now 7:13 still, and the regular meeting will begin shortly. Thank you.
Look at that.
So that's what. Down here.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I would like to call to order this regular meeting of the New Britain Common Council. The date's April 10th, 2024. The time is 7:18 p.m. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderpersons McNamara.
Here.
Smedley. Sanchez.
Here.
Beloin Saavedra.
Here.
Simpson.
Here.
Russell. Barbosa. Hargraves. McAdam. Gibson. Scott. Connors. Malinowski. Pabon. Santiago. 14 present, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Can we all please rise for the invocation? Will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Clerk?
Let us pray. O God, our Heavenly Father, as we begin a renewed spring, give Mayor Stewart and the Common Council the wisdom, knowledge, and critical thinking to recognize and address our financial difficulties. Provide them with the skills and compromise necessary to cost-effectively balance the needs of our community. We ask this in thy name. Amen.
Amen. I
pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. I'll go right into approval of the minutes this evening. Alderman Santiago.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept the minutes of the regular meeting of March 13, 2024, and special meeting of March 26, 2024.
I have a second from Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra. Are there any questions, comments, or changes? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I have no amendments to the agenda
No,
this
Your Honor.
evening, so we'll go right into petitions. Mr. Clerk?
Yes, Your Honor, we have 6. First one's from Alderman Simpson for the appropriate departments to provide information regarding the list of incidents to damaged snowplows, if any, on Richard Street.
I'll send that to the Public Works Department.
Number 2 is from Alderman Simpson for the appropriate departments to provide information regarding the Mount Pleasant Residents Advisory Council's budget.
Send that to the Common Council office, please.
Number 3 is from Alderman Santiago for the appropriate departments to conduct a study to remove or alter the parking restrictions on Horse Plain Road to allow for teacher and faculty parking in the area.
Police Commission.
Number 4 from Alderman McNamara for the status of the fund transfer adopted by the Common Council on September 29, 2023, appropriating $4 million to the Department of Public Works for use in the Phase 2 Allen Street Improvement Project as part of the Capital Improvement Program.
Send that to the Finance Department.
Number 5 from Alderwoman Scott for the appropriate departments to provide data regarding school arrests.
Board, can you say that one more time?
Okay. Alderwoman Scott for the appropriate departments to provide data regarding school arrests. How many children are being arrested at school? What disciplinary actions are being taken? How many minority children are being disciplined and or arrested? Any other pertinent data regarding discipline of children at school?
We'll send that over to the Board of Education.
Okay. And number 6 from Alderwoman Scott for the appropriate departments to provide information regarding how much tax relief Jasco Development and or its subsidiaries and or Avner Crone have received.
So 2 places, you send that to the Planning and Development Office, and we can also send it to the Assessor's Office, too.
Great. That's it, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clerk. All right, Alderman Santiago for the consent agenda.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept a consent agenda of item A, B, D, F, E, G, and I.
Do I
All right.
have a second? Second. I have a second from Alderman McNamara. So items C and H are off consent. Second by Alderman McNamara. Are there any questions or comments?
I make a motion to accept item C.
Oh, hold on one
Wait,
second. We have to vote on the consent agenda first. So C and H are coming off, the rest are on. I've got a second by Alderman McNamara. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderpersons McNamara.
Aye.
Sanchez. Yes. Beloin Saavedra.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Russell. Yes. Barbosa.
Well, if you vote no right now, we have to take up each item individually. And we don't want to do that. This is just a vote on the consent agenda. So so item C and item H are coming off of consent for discussion. The rest of the items are on the consent agenda. Thank you.
Hargraves.
Yes.
McAdam. Gibson.
Yes.
Scott. Connors.
Yes.
Malinowski. Pabon. Santiago.
Yes.
14-0, Your Honor.
Motion carries. So now we'll take off item C, and Alderwoman Scott requested this one to become off.
I make a motion to accept item C.
Do I have a second?
Yes. I mean, a second. Sorry.
Alderman Santiago.
It is for garbage cans, and I just had a couple of questions. The garbage cans in Ward 3, just to get some extra cans to help out with the garbage in the streets.
Mr. Moriarty?
Well, first, I wanted to thank you so much for responding back and actually allowing us to have a garbage can on Oak and Allen, because I think that was one of my main concerns, is that
Okay.
street.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to know how do we determine where the cans are going to be placed and where they're not going to be placed?
I mean, initially, we put them in, it's a costly program, and it's kind of a limited program, so we put just in the really core of the downtown area. We bid it when we started doing this with our trash contract, and like I explained in there, we did expand it on North Street and Broad Street. It's just, it's a costly program. The cans really do not last long, and they're very expensive, so we tried to limit it just to, in those core areas. I know, like, you know, you could almost justify having them across the entire city, but just based on if you could put one everywhere you wanted, it just got to be too costly, and then the cans got damaged, and keeping them maintained just got too difficult. So, I mean, I think our program is pretty similar to a number of other communities that they keep them on their main streets, like this style of can, just in the really downtown core areas, so.
Is there a plan, like, to help out with the other areas? Just because I've gotten some complaints from some people who live in the area, and like I have one lady who's actually putting a bag outside of her house because there's a lot of apartment buildings and traffic going through to get onto the buses and things. So I'm just wondering if there's a plan to help out with this problem.
I mean, rubbish is a problem in the entire city. We have it in the parks. We have it everywhere. We have a person that downtown spends his full-time job cleaning up rubbish. I mean, if we were trying to do anything, we'd be trying to do a public outreach campaign or something to try and get people to not litter as much. It's a big problem in our park system. I mean, I think we do have work to do, trying to get people to be more compliant on this. But I don't think a lot of times we have a lot of these receptacles downtown. People are litter right next to them. It doesn't necessarily change the behavior, just having these present, unfortunately. I do think we could stand to do a good campaign about trying to get people to be better about how they treat trash.
Okay. All right. And again, thank you so much for the can on Oak and Allen.
Oh, no
'Cause
problem.
I think everyone over there will be happy with that.
Okay.
So thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Moriarty. Any other questions or comments on item C? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item H, Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
Your Honor, the only reason I asked for this to come off consent is so that I can vote against it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Alderman Russell. Any other comments, Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra?
Just to clarify, so the motion is to...
You have to accept the report.
Okay, so the motion is to accept the report.
Yeah.
So if you're voting no, you're voting no against the concept. Correct. I just want to clarify for my caucus that the vote no means we're voting against the report. Thank you.
In essence, correct. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Party line, motion
Yes.
carried. Wait a second. Yeah. Yeah, okay. We'll move on to resolutions. And Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra, you have the first one tonight. You're gonna make an amendment? Okay, okay.
Accept and adopt with the understanding there's going to be an amendment.
Turn your mic on, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I was just
Thank you,
asking.
Alderman Russell. I move to accept and adopt item number 1 with the understanding there's going to be an amendment.
I have a second by Alderman Hargreaves.
And I yield to Alderman Santiago for the amendment.
Okay, Alderman Santiago.
Thank you, Your Honor, through you. I'd like to make a motion to amend, whereas the proposed change to 25 days would be changed to 35 on top. The second paragraph,
Oh, I see, the proposed change.
Yep.
In the third sentence.
To 35.
that would go concur with the rest of the ordinance and also with the state statute.
Mr. Clerk, do you see that?
Yeah.
Got it.
It's already been made, yeah.
I've got a second by Alderwoman Sanchez on the amendment. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the amendment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Back to the discussion on the item as amended once. Alderman Hargreaves.
Thank you, Your Honor. I don't know if it's like a scriber's error, but if you look at the bottom line after 3/4, I think it should say 3/4 in parentheses, but it has like semicolon fracs, semicolon 2, 3.
It's supposed to say two.
Translation error in the electronic.
Yeah. So just wanted to.
All the way down the bottom?
So would that be a clerical error?
It's just a clerical error. We'll take it out. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good catch.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think we need a motion on that. Nobody knows what the heck it says anyways. All right. Any other questions or comments on the item as amended 1.5 times? All those in favor, please say aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Santiago, resolution number 2.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept, I'm sorry. Make a motion to accept and adopt item number 2.
Second?
I have a second from Alderman McNamara.
This is to amend the code ordinances section 17-2 to provide transparency in government by requiring agreement regarding the lease of city properties once signed by all parties to be reported to the Common Council, and I urge adoption.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on this? Alderman Malinowski.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just have a few comments. The process of approving a lease already comes before the council. It is, we approve the amount of money and the duration of the contract. I think it's redundant. It adds an extra step, and for that reason, I will be voting no on this.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments on this? Alderman Pabon?
Yes, is there going to be a cost on this? Providing all these extra stuff?
If you want to count staff time, sure, you could say that staff hours technically does have a value to it. If you wanted to make the argument.
Okay, thank you.
Just saying.
I'll be voting against that. Thank you.
Alderman McNamara?
In response to the good alderman from Ward 5, I would say it would consume such time as it takes to push the send button for the information the council seeks.
Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
Thank you, Your Honor. If I understand what Attorney Pecorski had said during the debate, that there's already an ordinance on the books that allows the council to inquire about specific contracts or any other information that we have jurisdiction over, and if requested, upon request, we would be given that information. I also just object to the use of the word transparency, because I feel like there's an insinuation that we lack transparency, and I'm personally offended by that. I could give examples on how the other caucus hasn't been transparent with our caucus in terms of transparency. So one of those examples would be that the majority caucus went before the Finance Committee to represent the city council budget without informing the Rudd Caucus about the major increase that was going to be asked for within that budget. And so to go in front of a body and say you represent the city council and you want upwards of $75,000 plus, in addition to what historically has been given to the council, to me would be an example of lack of transparency. And when I raised the issue, I was sent the information after the fact by Alderman McNamara, but at no time before the presentation or the ask was made of the Finance Board was the Rudd Caucus informed of this. So that, for me, is an example of lack of transparency. So I do not believe that the word transparency can be owned and be the sole narrative of the Democratic Caucus. Thank you, Your Honor, and I will be voting against this.
Any other questions or comments? Alderman Hargraves?
Thank you, Your Honor. So this, section 17-2 is for selling or leasing of parkland, specifically parkland. And if you look at the amendment, it says once an agreement for the lease of city property has been signed by all parties. So this kind of encompasses all city properties, even though this section is specifically for parkland. So I don't think this is applicable for this section. So that's one of the reasons why I won't be voting in favor of this resolution today. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor of resolution number 2, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Party line?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Clerk? Motion carries. Item number 3, Alderman Connors.
Good evening, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 3.
Second by Alderman Pabon.
Thank you. This item amends the charter language to eliminate the specified number of subject matter committees. It does split up the duties of the consolidated committee between PZ&H and AFL. This was done after polling the current members of Consolidated to see, with their agreement and with the agreement of the members, it was just determined that this would provide additional flexibility to possibly address other matters, as Alderman McNamara previously stated. And again, just these duties will be split up, hopefully gaining some efficiency, and all the business of the Consolidated Committee will be split. And for those reasons, I urge adoption. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Connors. Any other questions or comments regarding item number 3? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move acceptance of resolution number 4.
I have a
Thank
second
you.
from Alderman Gibson.
This is a resolution about Autism Month, and at the end of the resolution, we are going to be inviting Captain Buckowitz up to talk about what's going on in the police department, the initiative. So I am going to read the resolution, but I just want to say it's full of a bunch of statistics and data, which does not accurately portray what a day in the life of a family who has an autistic child is like. So if you indulge me, I'm going to read this, but then I'm also going to speak a little personally about my life as a parent of 2 children with autism. To her honor, the mayor and the common council of the city of New Britain, the undersigned beg leave to recommend the adoption of the following. Whereas the month of April is annually designated Autism Acceptance and Awareness Month, and whereas allies of the autism community show support by wearing blue during the month of April, and whereas according to the CDC, autism now affects 1 in 36 children, and whereas autism presents challenges in communication, social skills, which often create peer group dilemma, and relationship and inclusiveness struggles in schools, community settings, and in the workplace, and whereas nearly 2/3 of children with autism have been bullied, and whereas an estimated 30% of people with autism are nonverbal, and whereas nearly 31% of children with autism have an intellectual disability, and whereas our New Britain families seek understanding, acceptance, and inclusion for loved ones challenged by the social, communication, sensory processing, and restrictive or repetitive behaviors characteristic of autism, Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and common council and the entire city of New Britain embrace the opportunities to be supportive and inclusive of our autism families, and be it further resolved that the mayor and the common council join communities around the world in designating April as Autism Acceptance Month. So that was a mouthful, but it wasn't personal. We tend to use these resolutions over and over again to add specific data points, like 1 in 36 children, which used to be 1 in 44 children. And you will see every couple of years that number gets more intense, which definitely has an impact on the community, both on the school system and the community at large. Some of the council members don't know me personally. I did have a wonderful opportunity to bring my son to the police department. My son is autistic. I have 2 adult children with autism. My son is verbal, but he has many characteristics of autism, and social peculiarities and conversation points are very interesting, which I'm sure the police will agree with me, although they were so warm and friendly to my son. I really appreciated that. He is a very funny kid with a great personality, but he has some social skills ineptness. Now my daughter, who's 26, is completely nonverbal. She lives in a group home because she requires 24/7 care. And she is a one-to-one and will be a one-to-one for the rest of her life. Imagine being the mother of a child who never speaks a single word. My daughter also falls in the percentage of the 31% who also has intellectual disabilities. So my daughter has classic autism and checks every single box on every data point that you would look at in terms of identifying a child with autism. So I can never take that hat off. When I'm here, no matter what we're talking about, I am always a mother of adult children with autism, and I am always working with the community to find ways to be more inclusive. It's easier with my son, who lives with me, who is verbal, who is able to go out into the community, which is why I am so happy with the police department, and really, Captain Buckowitz, the few meetings that we've had, the time you spent with me and my son and my mother. She tagged along for the tour. But the tour was really a guise because it gave the police department an opportunity to interact with my son and really experience what he's like and what it could be like. So having shared that, and I could go on, and I am very open about my family life. There's nothing that I am unwilling to discuss about the challenges of raising children with autism, and just knowing that it gets harder as they get older. No matter how hard you think it is when they're children, from a societal point of view, they're still cute. And if they have a meltdown and they're little, it's not a big deal. But you try taking a high school kid out in public who then has a meltdown, the community is not as forgiving or graceful about those types of situations. Which is why what Captain Buckowitz is going to talk about tonight in terms of having a voluntary registration through the emergency services, so that people will know when they respond to a call at your house, if you have somebody that presents that way, the do's and don'ts of interaction. So thank you as always, because I know I take up more time than I should. I appreciate the opportunity to share my personal story, and at this time I would like to ask Captain Buckowitz to come up, and I will flash that I'm wearing Captain Buckowitz ordered these. These are police patches that support autism, and I'm sure he could tell you they raised money, and they donated the money raised by the sale of these badges, and I'm going to have you explain that too. I don't want to take away your whole presentation, so make sure you hit on these badges too.
Certainly will do.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
And I promise you we're all behaving. You could tell your son.
My son did.
Yeah, so in my position, I supervise many people. I'm currently a detective division commander, and one thing I've always wanted to do is, I work very closely with our navigators, and many of you have met them. One segment of our population that I felt we needed to spend some more time with and focus on is those with autism. Like the councilwoman said, 1 in 36 children are autistic, and that number is probably going to rise. And just in some of my research here in the city, I know the school district is seeing rising numbers of students as well that fall on the spectrum. So we never want to make a situation worse than it has to be, right? When we respond to a call for service, when someone's in crisis, we want to go there with all the knowledge that we can to de-escalate and prevent things from becoming worse. So one thing we created, and it wasn't, you know, I had some ideas, but it wasn't just me. It was really a community partnership. It was the Navigators. It was the school district. It was the Hospital for Special Care, their Autism Center, CCRC, the health department. I mean, it was everyone in one room talking about this. And we created a form that's essentially everything we need to know, and a quick fact sheet about the house we're responding to, who has what, you know, and where they fall on the spectrum. How do they communicate? Are they verbal? Are they nonverbal? What things trigger, you know, a response, a positive or a negative one? Things they like or dislike. Things we can do to make the situation much calmer. And hopefully respond to that address when someone's in crisis, and not even have to do a thing other than show up and just build a rapport right off the rip. So the form we created has all those things. It's a very simple form. It's very easy to understand and fill out. It's in English, Spanish, Polish, and we're working on Arabic because we know we have a large Arabic population in the city. And we're going to be the repository of that information, and we're going to share it with our dispatch, our 911 center, and we're going to have a system where we can enter them. We call them an alert. It's basically just a notification. So if you call and we have a form on file, that's going to trigger the alert. It's going to notify our dispatcher and our police officers going to the home that you're responding to a house where someone's maybe in crisis. They have autism, things that they might be experiencing, things that we can do to help de-escalate and prevent that from being worse. And yeah, it's, you know, it's a huge undertaking. I would be remiss if I wasn't going to acknowledge the people that helped me to get to this point. You know, I mentioned a couple of the community organizations here in the city, but one of my detectives, Detective Linda Glimps, who you met, has been helping. And what's really good is that, and to speak about the patches that we're selling, which I have a few for sale, if you want to stop by after and talk to me. I was able to get, through a lot of help, private funding for these patches and donations. So it didn't cost the city or the department a dime to purchase these. And I was a little apprehensive at first, a little nervous, because it's new. You don't know how anyone's going to respond to it, if it's going to be a big hit or just a total flop. And within a day, we nearly sold out all the patches. And that was only within the police department, which I think speaks volumes to the New Britain Police Department and how much we care. So I ordered more, and those two are going very quickly. Yeah, and I'll show you real quickly what they look like, just so you can see them. So, what's that? Correct. Yeah, there was some discussion on what would be better, the 3-inch patch or the 5-inch patch, and you know, they're all a big hit though. So, but yeah, I mean, it goes beyond that. To go along with that form, we're putting in the cars sensory kits, so that we can, when we do respond to the homes, we have tools available to us to help. Again, private donations to raise money for those items. There are things like you know, fidget spinners, poppets, noise canceling headphones, dark tinted sunglasses, anything we can do to de-escalate an already you know, escalated situation. You know, we don't want to go in there and cause any further injury or trauma to anybody. So, and just one more thing on that form, we do offer, once we start really pushing it out, is kind of like a meet and greet with the police department, so that, you know, the first time we meet you in uniform is not necessarily in an emergency situation, which prompted you coming down. And it's such a basic, simple form to fill out that could solve so many things before they become issues. And I'm open to any questions. So.
Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
It's not a question. I want you to brag about going to the school district autism fair next week too. So rolling that out.
Yep. So next
and
Wednesday,
that Marley's coming with you, right?
She is.
Okay.
Marley's a big hit everywhere she goes. Yeah, and so next Wednesday we're going to Gaffney for the autism fair. It's going to be myself, Officer Sloat and Marley, Detective Glimps will be there, and some of our community partners from the Hospital for Special Care and the like. So we'll bring the form with us. We'll be advertising the form. We'll explain how to fill out the form. We'll explain how to fill it out, who to give it to, how we retain that data, and we want to make sure also that that information is protected and confidential, and what we do with it, and then how we disseminate it to the officers in the field. So next Wednesday at Gaffney, we'll be there.
So I'll just pile on top of what Captain Buckowitz has said here. I just also want to thank Chief Shute, because this conversation started under him quite a few years ago, and it just took this long to put it together and put the pieces of the puzzle, literally, not figuratively, together to make this happen. But I will say it is coinciding with the launch of our new CAD system, too. So once we have the 911 system that is up and running, that's when this will really launch. We'll be collecting information, but we won't have a way to actually get it out to the officers when they're responding to calls until that system is live. So we're still about 2 months-ish away, maybe, I hope.
Yes.
Yeah. From that going live. So while we'll be pushing out information about it over the next coming months, but we don't want like this, we just want everybody we want to manage expectations. Even though people will be filling out the forms, officers won't be able to see the information in the system as they're responding until this new system is live. There's my disclaimer. Any other questions for Captain Buckowitz? This is an awesome, awesome program. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would just like to I just want to thank you for doing all this, because I think this will really help save a lot of lives, actually, and de-escalate, help it so that things don't get more escalated or more trauma for people who have autism, because I've been in situations where 911 had to be called, and it can be more traumatizing for the person. But if you guys have a heads up and you know what you're walking into, I just really love this idea that we're doing this. So, thank you.
Thank you.
One more question?
Oh, sure.
Is this a benefit
stand.
for the fire department and EMS as well? Oh, I'm sorry. Is this a benefit for the fire department and EMS as well?
Of course, and when we do go to our new system, they will have, well, we'll have to figure out the back end of how it's going to be shared, but yeah, it's something that we'll all have the ability to view and help each other out with, so.
All right.
No questions, just.
Okay. Alderman Santiago.
There's no question. I really appreciate the work, though, definitely, 100%. This is just for autism. I'm a older brother to a sister that has autism, and she's also has a one-on-one services. And I was the parent pretty much because I was the oldest, so I kind of had to deal with the goods and the bads that came with it, but mostly good because they were all memories that I could just say that that she gave. She even to this day, she still shows the same love that I have when we were kids. Every time I see her, she grabs me and she picks me up. Yeah, so she's stronger than everybody else. That's one thing. But I definitely support this resolution, and thank you for the work that the police department has been doing for this, and also other work that they've been doing. Thank you.
Mayor?
Alderwoman Barbosa. Oh, sorry.
I just want to commend the department and taking this initiative. Our autistic people do matter, and they come in all forms, and we don't know what they look like. We don't know what their behavior, their triggers are. And this program, being incorporated by all, will be a major initiative to the city of New Britain, and it's all about inclusion. Including them and making them know that they do matter and they are important in our lives. I have family and I have friends who have autistic children, and I commend you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman McNamara.
Yeah, I'm sorry, rules. Thanks for coming. I want to commend the effort to create the program and Alderman Saavedra's remarks. And I think you probably have answered the question, but not directly. This must be a good tool for our 911 operators to respond to calls.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Thank you.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Captain. Alderman Malinowski, item number 5.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item 5.
Second by Alderman Gibson.
And this is for public bid 4165 for the purchase of chemicals, fertilizers, grasses, and pesticides for the Recreation and Community Services Department for Stanley Golf Course. And I urge adoption.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on this? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Simpson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Give me one moment here. I rise to make a motion to accept and adopt item number 6.
Second by Alderman Santiago.
This is authorization to accept the Emergency Management Performance Grant Program conditions for the eligibility, if my computer would allow me to finish. This is a grant coming into the city, essentially, for fiscal year '23, and I urge adoption.
Very easily said. It's exactly what it is. All those in favor, please, or I'm sorry, any questions, comments? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. And Alderman McNamara.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item 7.
Second by Alderwoman McAdam.
This resolution approves $76,843 in refunds and adjustments to taxpayers for the period between last December and through March. And again, I urge adoption.
Thank you. Tax abatements, corrections, and refunds. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Made by Alderman Santiago, seconded by Alderman Simpson. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. We're adjourned. The time is 7:54 p.m. Have a great night, everyone.